As a musician and as someone who really loves traditional Irish music played well, I'm always on the lookout for someone who does it well. And several years ago, I came across, just sort of on the internet, searching around for music, I came across Danú. They're named for a Celtic goddess, and sort of like another famous band from Ireland. But I thought I'd give them a listen, and I found it such a treat. They're just amazing musicians, and I think anyone who is going to allow themselves an opportunity to see them in concert will also find it a treat. They're quite wonderful. Here's the thing. They started in 1995, and a lot of bands playing traditional Irish music from Ireland today started around the same time, and some even before that. And a lot of them are very, very good. The thing about Danú is every single thing they do is just impeccable musicianship. And I've looked at a lot of clips of them, and I've listened to their music in a lot of other groups as well. And I just find what they do to be, their music is very high energy, and that feeds the spirit. At the same time, their instrumentals are very precise but very delicate instrumental phrasing. And you watch these people perform and you think, how in the world can they do that? That's just a fiddle. Lots of people play the fiddle. So how can that guy do what he's doing on that instrument? I find them just really cream of the crop. And that's saying a lot because there are a lot of great bands out there playing real traditional music. I believe this is their first time to Indianapolis, although they've toured in the U.S. since '97. The thing about Danú is that in Indianapolis, the Irish community sort of falls into two factions. One would be those who sort of follow the older acts, the ones who were responsible for bringing Irish music to the U.S. in the first place. And then the other follows the newer bands. And Danú is a combination of both. You can have the best of both with Danú, and here's why. Most people are familiar with the Clancy brothers and Tommy Makem. Most people know those names. They were almost single-handedly responsible for bringing Irish music to the U.S. in the 50s. Well, in 2009, Liam Clancy, who was the youngest of the Clancy brothers and the last surviving, died. And so I went on the internet because I just wanted to find out all the information I could about him at the time. And there are lots of clips on YouTube of Liam Clancy. And in the caption for one of them, I saw the words, also early Danú performance. And I thought, that's intriguing. So I went to that clip, and it was a clip of Liam and two of his older brothers on a sort of Irish talk show. And the musical guest on the show was this young, newly formed band. Just a trio was on the show out of County Waterford. And they played this tune, and they were just really wonderful. And I thought, wow, this is early days of Danú. And then I learned from that clip that the guitar player, who just plays flawless rhythm and other instruments as well, is Donald Clancy, Liam Clancy's son. So if you're a fan of the groups like the Clancy brothers, and yet groups like the newer bands, you can have the best of both in Danú, because with that kind of legacy, they are truly carrying on the tradition. And I just think it makes it wonderful that they bring it together like that. Well, as I say, their music is very high energy and very uplifting to the spirit. I'm a singer, and so vocals are important to me, and a band that understands the importance of song as well as instrumental music means a lot to me. And so at the same time that you're completely captivated by their instrumentals, their vocals are just heart-melting. And it doesn't matter whether they're singing in English or in Irish when you don't even know what the lyrics are saying. It's still just, it just grabs at you, and it's just a terrific experience. They've always made a point. I think their initial singer was a male, but since then they've always had a female singer. And now the one who's with them has been with them, I think, several years. And her voice is just, it's clear and crystal and lilting and just a joy to listen to. So people are going to hear that. And one of the things that I love about watching them is that you can tell that they love the music of their homeland. And that love just kind of pours out in their music. When you're watching them perform, you'll see one of them glance over at one of the others and they smile, and you just know they're doing what they really, really love. And here's the thing. This is such a treat to have in Indianapolis musicians like this. This band is very popular in the U.S., but they are also very, very popular in Ireland, because in Ireland, and they're based in County Waterford, which is where they started, and then they moved away for a while, but they're back there now. They played to standing room only audiences in Ireland. That's saying a lot, because in Ireland, there are many, many, many fine musicians playing totally excellent Irish traditional music. So people can afford to be choosy about whose concerts they attend. So if Irish people are giving them standing room only audiences, you know how wonderful they are. And they've won many, many awards. They've played all over the world at very prestigious events. They've performed on well more than 1,000 stages. I think it's fabulous that we can add the Clues Hall stage to that list of stages that they performed on. So it's just very exciting to have a group of their caliber here in Indianapolis. They have their own website too, and you can find out information there. If you just go to their site, or even go to some of the YouTube clips, you will find information about that. I think they have maybe 9 or so albums that they've released, and you can find information about that. The albums are certainly available to purchase. And Shawnee Records is one of the labels that they've recorded on, and Shawnee is S-E-A-N-A-C-H-I-E. Anyone who goes to that website will not only find Danú, but will find many other bands and artists that perform traditional music. So I really suggest the internet to, if you just plug in traditional Irish music, you're going to come up with a lot of links. Also, if you're looking to purchase albums, you know, you use the internet for that as well, or Amazon and all those. You know, it's out there. It's really out there and available, more so now than ever. Their instruments are guitar, of course, and bouzouki, which in Irish traditional music is used for really wonderful rhythmic patterns. They have a fiddler, they have an accordionist, they have their singer plays flute, and then of course they have vocals. So they have, and there may be other instruments that play in and out of a concert, but they are there's not a flaw among them with what they're playing that I've ever been able to see. I just think, or hear even, I just think they're quite amazing on those instruments. So the Bowron, did I say the Bowron? Their drummer is one of the original members, and he plays the Irish drum, the Bowron, and he's amazing to watch. The Bowron is a very, to me, mesmerizing instrument. I play it myself, and you just get sort of caught up in the rhythms, and everything else kind of fades away. And when you're watching him play, it's the same thing. He's all over that little drum, and it's quite amazing. So yeah, they're just impeccable. A lot of bands who play this kind of music sit to perform, and they stand, which makes them very present, except the violin player may sit, but they stand, and it makes them very present on the stage, and it also gives them the freedom of movement, so they can turn to look at one another and give each other those little silent signs for when a tune is about to end, or something, you know. They just appear to be very, very comfortable on the stage, which is why it's comfortable to watch them in concert.